That'll have to be in our coaching session.
Yeah. We are live. Oh my gosh. I know. I'm so excited. You look so beautiful. You
Oh
look
my God, so do you. You
Oh
are,
no, I'm outside. Look, I'm in like tank top,
no,
outfit.
it's awesome.
I'm
Listen,
outside in my backyard.
I just always want to squeeze you. Whenever I see you, I
It's
just want
even
to
worse
squeeze you.
now, right? I think this quarantine and isolation is for us that are huggers and touch, we want to touch
It
people.
sucks.
Yes, sucks so bad. At least you have your kids, right?
Yes.
My kids have even started quarantining my grandkids, so I can't see them.
Well,
But I get it. Like I understand we need to do what's right to protect our families, and it's like an unprecedented time. It's something we're not used to, and we need to acknowledge that
yes.
right now,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Totally. Yeah.
So you're homeschooling through this. So
Yeah.
what advice, Lori, can you give to some of our moms out there that are watching us right now on what it's like? Because you're I'm going to use you're a solopreneur, right? So you're a
Yes.
solopreneur.
Yep.
You do a lot of workshops that used to be live. You coach
Yes.
a
In
lot of
person.
clients.
Yep.
Yep, live in person. You coach a lot of clients. You used to do work with a lot of corporations in person. So you've
Yes.
had to not only really pivot and adjust your business, you now have had to become a stay-at-home mom with homeschooling children all in a matter of a couple weeks. What's that
Yeah.
like?
Yeah. So, um, thank God the liquor stores are considered essential. And I never really drank much before, but oh my goodness, now.
She's not kidding.
Um, so so I should have my glass of wine while I was sitting here. It's just like anything. It's like you
Yeah.
shift and you adjust. I was just starting to get onto a schedule because I was never really great at scheduling myself, which is not good when you're in business for yourself. And I just started to get into it, and then all of a sudden got slammed with this, so I had to adjust that. I'm still working on that. So
Ooh, let's go back to that for a minute.
yeah, go ahead.
You didn't do it overnight. So parents
No.
breathe, right? I
Yes.
think we
Yes.
put too much
Yep.
on ourselves. And I think we expect that because it changes, now all of a sudden we were never teachers before. Now we have to be a teacher and homeschool our kids. Like,
Oh
give yourself
yeah.
some grace, right? You're doing the best you can.
Yes.
Recognize that.
That's right. Because we have to be super moms. They're like we have to
Yeah,
be able to do it immediately and perfectly, which we
right,
know that just doesn't happen. So
right.
you have to wing it. And for us, it's a transition because like the first week. So actually, I have to let me preface by saying that I have three, but two are in the public school system.
Hmm.
One is a junior in high school, but she was homeschooling already, so she was already like doing her thing. So
Hmm.
I had to do is with just my 6-year-old who's first grade. And I got to tell you, I have one kid that I'm homeschooling really, and I don't know how these parents are doing it with 3 or 4 or 2 because one is enough for me. Thank you very much. And so the first week we had nothing in plan. Like our school system didn't have anything
Yeah.
so they just basically were home and they just
Hmm.
sent home and we're trying to do what we do. Then they implemented the online stuff, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we had to get used to that. And
Hmm.
so that was all last week. So this week, literally, like last night I was sitting down with the kids, and I had my date book on my lap, and I had printed out a schedule for the 6-year-old, and I said, okay, so now I got to figure out when I have my calls to do and my business stuff to do and fit her here and fit her there so that she gets X amount of hours in. And so that's what I was doing. So I felt a little bit more in control last night. Last week was totally winging it.
Hmm.
It was okay, but I still, I felt like I didn't get everything that I needed done. But this week I feel a little bit stronger about it. So, what day is this anyway? Is today Monday? Yes.
Monday.
What day it is? Oh,
Monday. I know. That's what happens when you are a solopreneur or you're an entrepreneur and you work from your home. So we can you imagine on top of this, right, the burden that some people are feeling where they're used to driving to a corporate office. Now they're having to work remotely, where you and I are used to working remotely. So I just wanted to point it out. And I think, Lori, you said it so beautifully. It's just been one foot in front of the other, just step by step by step. And the last thing you said that I want to point out to everybody is you took your calendar and you said, okay, she has to have a certain amount of hours in. I have to clients that I coach. How do I fit her in on the times that I have some open time and start blocking this? And that's important. So don't try and just throw your schedule away and sit down with your children like a school teacher would for the hours that the children are at school from 9 to 3:30 or whatever it is. Find blocks of time that you can block out. And what I love about that is you can be fully present with your clients when you're blocked out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then you can
Yes.
be fully present with her when you're blocked out for 2 hours, and then vice versa. And it helps you just be in the moment and not feel guilty for doing one or not the other when you're doing one and not the other. Does that make sense?
And I think that's the biggest take from all this. I think
Yes.
for the first time ever, we've been in the moment. Like, this is forcing us to be in the moment. Like, we can't even, we have a tendency to either live in the past or live in the future, and very rarely in the moment. And it's like, but now we might be able to complain about the past, or, oh my God, I remember before, but we can't talk about the future because we actually don't even know. We like literally go day to day, week to week. So it's like we can't even project too far.
Yeah.
Forced to deal with the moments in time. And I think that's the biggest take from all this, because so I scheduled with her, well, even the 16-year-old, it's been very interesting because she would sort of do her own thing. But now it's like when we take breaks to go do like recess and we go outside and we, ride our bikes or we kick the ball around, the 16-year-old is joining in, and it's great. And it's like, I actually think we have had more quality time.
No, way more.
In this than we ever did. And yet we're still all managing, like we're still all getting it done. Without I think the challenge is it's the scheduling, but it's also just sometimes we're just so much into each other's space.
Yeah.
So you still have to like find those moments where you say, okay, like you do the dreaded thing as a parent that you want to do, just sit in front of the iPad, for God's sakes, just give me a moment. It's like, you don't want to admit that you're like telling them to go sit in front of the iPad, but you're like, I just need to do my thing for a minute. So it's like, just go do that. I'm okay with it for today. Yeah. And just saying, okay, that's fine. And then we'll do this and shift and just be creative. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like everybody's being so creative. All of this, like I've been seeing the coolest stuff that people are doing, parents, and just even, what was the one thing I was looking at? It was, I wish I wrote it down. It was some orchestra, and they each, they put together, they played Ode to Joy, and they were all at home, and they had like, just like this with the Zoom thing, only had little blocks of each person perfectly in sync with each other.
Great.
So beautiful. And they did it just, for free, just to give out to people. And it was beautiful. It's like, those are the things that I focus on. That, I mean, it is hard. It's not, I have a lot of friends that aren't working, a lot of friends that aren't getting any money, but I think that's where, like, we can't help that. There's nothing we can do about that. So then we have to come together as a community and just.
That's the other thing. Perfect point. There's nothing.
I did that on purpose. Like, I segued on purpose.
Well, great minds think alike.
Of course.
We talked about this a little bit in the last Facebook Lives we did this morning, which was you can either completely stress out every second of every day and look at this as in all of this is happening, coming at you, happening to you. When it's not. I look at this as the most beautiful reset. Like, I'm sitting outside right now, and I generally would take all my calls in the house. I'm just getting a little, I don't know, I feel a little closed in. So I come outside a lot now, and I've sat out in conference calls with my legs in the sun, put some little tanning lotion on it. I've just gotten outside more. The sky is beautiful.
Oh yeah. I can imagine over where you are.
Arizona are like clear. I've never seen it so clear. And so if we can look at the silver lining and all the benefits that are coming from this, it's forcing us to maybe look at some things in the way that we used to treat our kids, or the way that we have had quality time as a family before. Now that looks a little bit different. And way more families are spending time together playing. They're
Yeah.
playing outside. They're playing games together. So real quality time, not sitting in front of the TV just binging, Tiger King or something.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it's
Exactly.
kind of a crazy show. But my point of that is, it's I look at this as a wonderful blessing. This whole
Yeah.
earth. Everyone needs to remember, it's not your state, it's not your city, it's not just your county, it's the entire world
That's right.
is on a
Yes.
reset.
Yes.
This is the closest we'll ever come. We've never experienced this before, so you
No.
can't be expected to know what to do. But
Right.
that's when you grow. When you're uncomfortable and you don't know what to do, you just have to start applying to figure out what's working.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you're doing that in your business right now, aren't you?
I am, because half of my business I lost because I do live, speaking engagements and workshops. But interestingly, the coaching part, I had a couple of people sort of drop off because they're just inundated. And then a couple of people that did, now they're like, okay, they were like gone for like a week, and they're like, and then I have new people coming in, so
Yeah.
I think people are seeing that some of it is stress, induced. So they want to coach because maybe to help reduce their stress levels, but the others are taking the moment to say, like, I'm just going to take the time and reset. And it made me think, because so I wrote something down, because we keep hearing this statement constantly. It's like all these commercials are coming out in this time of uncertainty and this time of uncertainty. And so I put in these times of uncertainty, that statement alone is stressful because it's an unknown.
Yes.
And as coaches, that people do not like the unknown. The only people who like it are like us, that like, oh, we'll step into the unknown because we just know something's great out there. But vast majority of people are always fearful of the unknown. So now we're making them more fearful. So most people don't like unknown. So for now, focus on what is certain. We will get through this. There's no doubt that we will get through this. We will. I mean, we will. And so people are surviving this. So what's certain in your home? Like, what are the things that you can just count on and say, for certain, I know this, so that you get rid of that uncertainty? Because in the end, this will pass. And then what is going to be there, like within you, after all this passes? Like, if you're sitting in a corner just going, oh my God, like if you're just sitting there in a corner and like completely losing it, which is possible, I mean, I could have been there myself, but if you're there, and then when all the smoke, all the clouds pull away, and then okay, go back to work and go back to life, what are you going to be? I mean, like at this point, the only thing I could say is I might be about 20 pounds heavier, because I have indulged. I will tell you, today was the first day where I was actually, okay, I'm like bored with that. Like, I'm done with eating. I don't ever want to eat anything ever again. So that like kind of shifted for me today. But prior to, I was definitely emotionally eating, and I knew it. Like, I'm coaching myself going, now, why are you putting it into your mouth? And I'm like, because I want to. Just leave me alone,
You know what? There's two sides to that we need to acknowledge that you said. One, it is a time that we've never experienced before. So when things happen and you do feel panicked or fear or worried, it's okay to acknowledge that that's happening. Listen to the voices, acknowledge it. What you don't want to do is stay in that state for a long time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Acknowledge it, get through it, and figure out how to reset your mindset to get on the other side. And how can you do that? By being certain. How do we create certainty? We create it by taking charge, showing up for ourselves, showing up for our family, and being seen in our family, and taking charge of the things that we have control over.
That's
how
right.
you create, because to me, this is not an uncertain time. To me, it's a new reality.
Yes.
That we've never seen before, but so was 2008. So was 2001 when we went through 9/11. It was for a brief pause, and then we had to go through security with little bottles. So what happened? Companies were like, awesome, we need to start creating little travel bottles for people to take that are approved, that they can go through security with. It created opportunity for other companies. So what opportunity is this creating for you and your family. And if it's not a business that you own, and it's just an opportunity for you to say, you know what, we actually sat down as a family and had dinner 3 or 4 nights out of the week instead of ordering out.
Yes.
From now on, moving forward, we're sitting down and having 3 to 4 meals a week as a family because I actually got to know my kids. You can
Yes.
create that certainty in your home. So I feel that if we don't replace the word panic with possibilities, and if we only want to stay in the zone of fear, that is where you're going to be when we come out of this. And
Oh, yes.
you're fearing the unknown because you're not willing to step up and take charge
Yeah.
what you can create to be certain in your life.
Right. And fear builds on fear. And
Yes.
it's a belief that literally will be programmed into the brain. And if you
Yeah.
walk out of here being terrified, you're
Yeah.
going to be terrified, you know, even when everything calms down.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you brought up with 2001, because that's to me the closest thing that I can, relate this to, even though it's not even that close at all. But one thing I remember very clearly back then was how we stepped up as humans and humanity, and the beauty of humans came out, and we were
Oh, yeah.
generous, we were compassionate, empathetic. And then something happens with humans sometimes is we just forget. Like we just time passes and the next thing you know, and that's why I think this was like literally a global reset, because we were just getting to a level where we were just down, not being nice to each other, dehumanizing each other. And I'm hoping, I'm hopeful that as we move past this, that we don't forget, like we don't go back into that groove that we had before, which clearly is not sustainable. And we need to really just say, okay, listen, I might not be able to cook dinner every night, but what can I do that would be, well, maybe I could crock pot it this night, and maybe I could work something out and just fit it into the schedule, just figure it out. And this is the time to do it. When we are still, when we are quiet, that is when we are the most creative. So these are the moments, because we don't know when, I'm here in April, I'm here in May, and that's, we're talking another 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever plus weeks. As this progresses, some people are stressed out right now and some people are pretty cool, but then it might get a little bit more stressful as time progresses. So we have to always stay very focused on that. We have to say, what are my tools? What can I do for myself, for my family? Have conversations, admit, like you said, sometimes you don't have those you have those moments where you can't handle it, and you have to forgive yourself, and you have to allow that space. So if you say to your family, I have to lock myself in my bedroom and watch, Friends, like binge watch Friends, damn Netflix for taking it off, because I really would have loved that. But if you have to binge watch something and sit with, just a little bag of potato chips, just say it's okay. It's okay, just for tonight, and then tomorrow reset. I'm not going to do this.
I do that every week, Lori, and I don't apologize to anybody. My Sunday is my reset day. I call it my unplug day. So I don't schedule calls with anyone. I don't check my emails. I really don't. It's my day that if I want to go for a walk or ride my bike or go hiking or see family or go to church or sit on my couch and watch a movie or two or a documentary or whatever it is, and sit and make breakfast and then make lunch or whatever I want to do, I feel like, step up and lead your life. I don't have to ask permission of anyone on having a down day. And we're working very, very hard. And for some of you that feel like you're not, what are you missing? What can you be working on in your life right now? A lot of people are talking about cleaning things out, doing all these other activities. I haven't had the opportunity to do that because I have been swamped every day with what I have going on. But if you have that opportunity, make it a family affair and bring your family into it and say, hey, we're going to do some spring cleaning together. So let's go through all the games that we own, pick out some favorites that we like to play, and let's donate some. And, donate them as soon as we come out of this to homes that are going to need them, right? Because there's, the beauty is, I just haven't seen a lot of crime, but I also know there's a lot of crime that happens at home behind closed doors. So I know a lot of the people that could get away from that aren't able to get away from that at this moment, my prayer for them is that they realize that now's the time that they're going to have to make the change, right?
Yeah,
So I'm
right,
hoping that this
exactly.
force of us being locked down shows them that you just can't continue to live like this anymore. And it's
Right.
time to, make a decision for your children and yourself. That's my hope and my prayer for them. But you've given some really solid advice. And what are some advice? What are some pieces of advice you've been giving to your clients? Because I know you work with several clients. Maybe tell our viewers what you do for a living.
So I am a life coach. I focus on transformation and mindfulness practice. So everything that I do, it's to, align yourself with your, be authentic and align yourself with your greatness. And, but you also have to know how to manage your stress. So I'm always including mindfulness practice tips. And so, some clients are just, a lot of it is scheduling. Like in the last 2 weeks, a lot of it has been scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
The balance of creating boundaries. A lot of these bosses are basically saying, well, you're working from home and there's this expectation of 24 hours. Like you're literally not, you're logging in at like 8 in the morning and you're not getting off till 10 o'clock at night. And that's ridiculous.
You wouldn't stay at the office till 10 o'clock
No,
at night?
well, that's right. That's just it. And so I've been telling clients, listen, you've got to put up the boundary, and there's nothing they can do about it. You just say, listen, I'm going to log in at 8 and I'm going to off at 6, and that's that. I'm going to take my lunch break, and that's that. And some are feeling like, well, I got to catch up. And then I ask them, well, how much time are you putting in for yourself in this time? Like in this, oh, well, not really, because I've been so busy. What's different now than when you were actually physically on the job? Really. So, and we don't have commutes now. I work like you, I mainly work from home. So it's like, we don't really have the commutes. And so we don't have to get the kids ready for school and schlep them off to school. So that time has become our time. Like my kids are literally rolling out of bed and then getting online, so it's like, they don't even have, they're lucky if they have pants on, when they're online,
That's
so.
the other thing. Like, you're doing the best you can. So somebody asked me on an interview, it was Bernardo Moya, the owner of the Best You Expo, that got canceled. So they did all these online interviews over the weekend. So I did an online interview on Saturday with him. And one of the first questions that he was talking about was really based on, what advice that we're, offering people, or what is the big thing that comes up with your clients or your community that hurts them. And I said, number one, for women, the biggest thing that comes up right now is comparing themselves to another female.
Yeah.
We're not in competition. You're not in competition for Mother of the Year award to compare yourself to another mother of how she's homeschooling, how she's holding her life together or not. So if social media is hurting that for you, and you're starting to compare yourself to other people on social media, get off social media for a little while, like take a break from it. So I always say you're in charge of what comes in and what goes out. No one else.
And if it helps, like I am not doing great with this balance and homeschooling. So my bar is really low. So if they have to set their bar to somebody, they can set it to mine. Mine's like here. So it's like, so they'll be looking like, oh, I'm a fantastic. I'm better than her. So I'm more than happy to let you do that, because I will be the first one to admit, like I'm just winging it. Like I do whatever.
That's how you inspire people, Lori. Honestly, I have to tell you, because the way that you say, I'm doing the best I can, I'm just winging it. If they roll out of bed and they're in their pajamas and they're online, at least they're learning. So you're not comparing yourself to other people to say, yeah, I'm doing a horrible job. This is not a time to put yourself down. This is a time for you to feel great about the positive things you do in your day. And if you don't believe that, I want to challenge all of you to write down 5 things that day that you did that were amazing when you go to bed. And you're going to go back through your entire day and think of 5 wonderful things that you were able to get done that day. And that's going to make you feel much better about yourself when you go to sleep at night.
Yes.
Or write down gratitudes of things that you're grateful for in a day, because no one can be in a negative mindset and write positive things down at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, gratitude totally shifts the energy. Yes.
Good pause. And you're in control of the energy of yourself, what you're putting off, and what's in your house. So if your energy sucks, Lori, and you're dragging everybody down, the entire house is going to be drugged down. You know how that works.
That's right. And my thought is this, that all these people that say they brag about on social media how they have it all together, I wonder how many of them are actually lying. Like they're together and then they hang up their thing. And then they hang up their social media, they close off, they're going, oh my God. Like they're just like, sitting in there just, whatever. And I always like laugh about it. I just say, you know what, I mean, like last night, I'm just double checking. So I went online to my kids' thing and I'm looking and I'm going, oh my God, we missed an assignment and it was due. So I'm like, I grab my little one. I'm like, we got to finish this quickly. And I printed out the paper and I'm like, you know what? She'll finish the paper in the morning. And so that's what she did. Before she started this week, we finished a paper. Yeah. They're not, and the school isn't even upset. They just want to know that you're doing it. And so I was just, okay, well, now I've got the rhythm down, so we're good. And, but it was funny. She's like, I thought I was done. I thought it was Sunday. I'm like, you got to do it right now anyway, but we laughed.
Good.
So
how can people follow you? Because we're getting to the end of the video and I want to make sure we're going to put everything down in the comment section below on how to get a hold of Lori. But how can people connect with you on Instagram, Facebook, and any online webinars that you have coming up?
Okay, so I am on Instagram. I'm Align Yourself Inc. is my business. So under Instagram on that call name.
Look for the big tree.
Yeah, the big tree.
Like a big tree. It's a tree behind her. If you guys can see the tree behind her.
It's like that, yeah. Except it's the lady. She's rooted and it has sprouting. I
love it.
Love it. So, and then my Facebook page is Dr. Lori Monaco. I have a Lori Monaco and a Dr. Lori Monaco, so you could go on either page. I do Facebook Lives every Thursday. I have been doing them for like over a year now, a little over a year. And I've dedicated the last, for the 6 weeks interim, so basically the end of April, is going to be focusing specifically on stress management, letting loose, having fun. Last week we were dancing. I even got my 80-something-year-old parents dancing, and we were just everybody. So what the viewers were supposed to be dancing with us. Either that or we just looked like idiots all up there, but I'm fine. And then in addition, I'm going to do something like this where I'm interviewing people that I know that are involved with, stress management and stuff like that, which, by the way, you're on my list. So I'm going to be, lead it on you. And so it's, if that's really my main thing right now. I haven't set up anything as far as webinars just yet. I might, but a lot of people are doing it. So I don't want to inundate people, so if you want to just follow me on the social media, then you'll be able to get those free videos. And then mindfulness tips. I've been doing mindfulness tips, real short little mindfulness.
Saw those.
I wonder who told me to do that. That was such a good idea.
You know what? I do think that if you see her mindfulness tips, share them on your story or on your page. I do that whenever I see yours. I forward them to myself and add them to my story, because whoever my community is or my friends that are looking at it, maybe that mindfulness tip is what they need to hear that day. So if you're doing nothing but sharing content, forwarding, hitting share, and just sharing what other people have that maybe was a great message for you to hear that day, share it with a friend. That's a great way to help the community. Just little bits, right? Little bits.
Yes.
Well, Lori, thank you for being with us. I think you're doing amazing. I think you're an amazing mom. You're an amazing coach. And I love you to death. So thank you.
Oh, I love you. Oh, squeeze it.
And we're going to put all of her information below. And so thanks for joining us today, you guys.
Thanks, Colleen. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad I was here.
Bye.